Welcome back. The Trump administration has kept Americans on the edge of their seats for the past few weeks, from abruptly firing James Comey to allegedly revealing highly classified intelligence to Russia. Colin, do you think the president is in a downward spiral, or would you call it something else, maybe?
I think that there is a potential plethora of adjectives that could be used. Downward spiral is certainly one. Imploding, maybe another.
Get out the thesaurus.
And what we're facing right now, and I think there's a number of factors leading to this, but most of these issues that have come to the fore, and the unfortunate part is, and I actually have seen several folks on both sides of the aisle complain that really this has become much more than anything a distraction. Mm-hmm. They're all created by the White House.
Yeah.
So, we're seeing what happens in an environment where processes are not followed, where you have someone in a position of leadership that assumes that they know everything and they know how to do everything and does not consult anyone. Honestly, I think that there are a lot of very talented people whom I may or may not agree with the cabinet or in cabinet positions. I don't think that they're being consulted as a lot of this stuff is happening. A lot of these things are happening off the cuff, and a lot of these things are happening at 2 o'clock in the morning in a Twitter storm.
Or they're finding out on television while they're giving a speech.
So one thing that I honestly think White House staff should do, and this is somewhat tongue-in-cheek, would be to just remove the phone overnight, or disable the Twitter account, and just let it percolate for a few hours, and maybe it comes out in a slightly different tone. Yeah. But I think, whereas, look, we have had it's as a democracy, you oftentimes have people in power and positions of power you're going to disagree with politically. I think here in the last little bit, what we're dealing with are crises that are not political. So the possibility of obstruction of justice, the possibility of having released classified information, by the way, compromising potentially an Israeli agent that was embedded in ISIS.
It could be somebody's life in this case.
To a country that is friendly, very friendly, who is the supporter of a country that we're not exactly very friendly with right now, which is Syria. Yeah. We, I think, dropped some bombs on them a couple of weeks ago. I think there's a certain recklessness to the behavior. And I'm not entirely sure how else to describe it.
Yeah.
I think there's recklessness on both sides. I think there is, I call this a multifaceted problem. Number one, I think you have political zealots on the left and on the right that their only goal in life is to take Trump down. I think that from Trump's perspective, he has done nothing to help himself, or very little to help himself, in terms of the way he has run his administration so far. Yeah. Whenever you put a group of people together for the first time, and he has no political background essentially, there's a basic process. It's an accepted theory of how groups get to the point where they're benefiting, and the process has 4 steps: forming, storming, norming, and performing. So forming the group, storming about how they're going to attack things, normalizing how their processes work, and then hopefully performing and getting something done. I hope upon hope that this is a storming stage, because if we got 4 years of this, we're all in big trouble.
See, I think,
but I'm not ready to, at this point, I don't know enough about I've heard both sides of the release of classified information. The reality is, in his position, he has the right to release classified information at many levels.
He has a lot of rights.
Yeah, but my question is, is that smart or not? Well, and again, I'm not smart enough to answer that.
Well, but you're presuming on the 4-stage thing that you're dealing with a person who is social. Donald Trump is the narcissistic type.
That's an
he's
opinion.
Not. Oh no, I don't think so.
No, that's an opinion.
Yeah, well, it's a very
I think it's an opinion that's shared
held,
by a lot of
very,
folks out
very
there.
widely held
And
opinion.
my point is, they're equally number. My point is that I don't know what he is at this point. And I got to tell you something. If we had a winners and losers segment tonight, which we don't, you know who my big winner of the week would be?
Ooh.
Our governor. You know why?
Why?
because he has neither come out in support of or against Donald Trump. He has adopted a wait-and-see attitude. Now, that may change with some of the craziness that's happened
It's
recently.
going to change, I think.
Well, we don't know that.
But I think the way you're talking about how things develop in a normal group, that's presuming you got somebody who can work with people. He's exhibited, as Colin was saying, he doesn't work with them. I mean, he's got his closest aides who have to find something out, hide in the bushes, because they, literally hide in the bushes on the White House property, because this man does not deal that way with people.
Well, and there are documented cases where either he went against the advice of folks who were in positions to give that advice, or having made a decision, completely changed the decision. To go back to one point that you made, Jim, I think the issue not so much, obviously, as the executive, as a president, he has access to and has the ability to ultimately make decisions on what information can be released. The bigger question, I believe, there was the forum in which that information was released, which was a press conference type forum. Yeah. Normally, when classified information is being exchanged, there is an apparatus for that. We have been sharing classified information with the Russians or the Soviets before that for a very long time. It was for diplomatic reasons, it was for political reasons, arms control, everything else. But it happens in a secure environment behind closed doors, not in front of the press.
I think you're going to get the last word, because we really ripped through that pretty fast.
Yes, we did.
And we could talk a lot more, and I'm sure this subject will not go away.
No, it won't.
Up next, our panel meets with Executive Director of Horizon Goodwill Industries, John McCain. Stay tuned.